friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Well, I'm here for another garden update, which of course happens to be another really stormy day. So I'm not going to be outside again, but I'll get some video clips and still shots to throw in here. But before I start, I want to do try to make it quick, little bit of YouTube housekeeping, and that is to remind everybody I have not been active on Facebook since middle of December. So if you're trying to message me there, you're not going to get any answers. The very best place to contact me with your questions is at raincountryhomestead@gmail.com. Our email address and our snail mail address is always linked in the description box down below. Don't forget to click on either show more or that little gray triangle or arrow that you'll see right over here if you're on a smart device to see all the information we have in there, including video links and so on and so forth. And also, whenever I'm doing videos like this, such as garden updates, this and that videos, anything that I want to get up within the next 2 to 3 days of shooting it, then what happens is other videos get pushed out even farther, because a lot of you may know I'm 3 to 4 weeks ahead at any given time on my videos, so that I'm always prepared for whatever life throws our way, even when it comes to my channel. So some videos I may have promised that will come out soon. If I decide they're not as important as maybe another video, those are some of the ones that get pushed out even farther. So it may be at least 2 months old by the time you see it, or even more. Just depends on the video itself. Now, I will have a more detailed video on our channel on how it works and so on and so forth coming out soon. Ish. It might be bumped out farther though, but I just want to say that real quick so people understand how that works. And in that video, I'll also be talking about a couple of backup video hosting sites that I've set up. I have decided though, since shooting that video and uploading it, that I am going to make Rumble my #1 backup site, and then my #2 backup site for now is going to be BitChute. What that means is that only if something happens to us here on YouTube, I'll start putting videos up on Rumble, and if that doesn't work out, then the next one will be BitChute. But I'm liking the way Rumble looks and just the general feel of it, so I've decided that will be my #1 choice. I can only handle one at a time, and so please don't try to shoot any more ideas at me, because it takes me too long. With as busy as my schedule is, it takes me too long just to research each individual one and then try to figure out how to set up an account, because every single one's different. I don't have time for all that. I have to stick with one. And again, only if something happens to our channel here on YouTube. So I'll link to the Rumble account down below. Yes, there's 2 accounts, but one is going to be specifically for video uploading, and that's the one I'll be linking to, so you can subscribe to us there now. So if something happens and all of a sudden you don't see our channel or our videos, you'll know to go look for us there. Okay, so moving on to the garden updates. There's still not a lot to show yet, but there is a little bit, because mostly a lot of things have been cleaned up and getting things ready for planting. So one of the things that Patrick did this past week, as some of you know, we live in a corner lot in a neighborhood, and on the next street over actually is a church that takes up the whole block, and they have a lot of grassy area. So when they mow that, and it's not sprayed with anything, when they mow that, they pile the grass up, and it's been piling there for a couple of years, and breaking down. So what Patrick did, and we had asked the pastor if we could do this a while back, so he took his backhoe over there and brought us 3 big scoops of that compost and dumped it into the front yard garden area, because that's the only one he could actually get to, and even then he has to weave the backhoe through the little fruit trees out there. So that is just going to be great. The potatoes are going to love it. Right where it's dumped is actually where I plant the potatoes, but what that also means is the potatoes have to go in the ground here in a couple of days, and I need to get that pile dealt with, and I have been working on it, so it's not quite as big as it was. So I'm using that to fill some of my different pots that I'm going to be planting in, refreshing some of the pots. And no, I don't change the soil out in my pots. That, you know, if I'm going to replant in them, I just add to them, and usually try to add something that is rich like that, because all the nutrients can get robbed out of those pots. So I like putting that compost directly in the pots and mixing it in with the soil that's there. So I've been doing that with the pots in the greenhouse, that I'm going to be hopefully within the next couple of days transplanting my tomatoes that are still here in the house out into the greenhouse in pots first. I always do that. I just take the big cluster, stick it into one of the bigger pots, and then as the weather gets warmer and we don't have quite as much rain, I'll block the chickens off from that area and then plant the tomatoes directly in the ground. So that's what's been going on there. You'll see back here these flowers. Well, tomorrow is the day I'm shooting. This is actually Sunday the 28th, which is my oldest son's birthday, and tomorrow is my birthday. My youngest son and his fiance bought me these flowers and this cute little flamingo that you'll see right here as a garden ornament. And then my sister-in-law also came over and brought me this beautiful hanging to put out there. So the perfect spot for them was on top of the wood stove where I'm growing a lot of my thyme now in pots, so that way they'll stay more protected from the weather. And I've also been dividing up some of my thyme out front to put more in pots over here. The front deck garden has been, I've been having a lot of fun getting that ready. I've got some more pots coming. And soon I'll be shooting a new video on small space gardening, so giving you some ideas for those who have limited gardening area. Now we do have another piece of property up the road that we're going to start using more for expanding our garden on soon, and which brings me to that, by the way, the greenhouse that you saw the video that Patrick bought. That some people probably expect that to go up this year. No, that's not going to happen this year. That's probably going to be at least a year out, but that's one of our investments that we're taking the funds that we've been saving up to buy more property, but we're not really sure when or if that's ever going to happen. So mostly we're looking at, well, let's just keep investing back into some tangible things to make better what we already have. So out there is where we're going to put the bigger greenhouse, and we also plan on growing raspberries out there because I don't think elk eat berries as much as they do the fruit off the trees. Those kind of things are the things you have to watch out for. So we might be safe putting raspberries out there because I really want to grow raspberries again. If not, I might turn the main garden bed out back, which I plan on doing pretty much nothing but perennials out there. So I might do raspberries out there. I might move some of my blueberries in pots or currants in pots into that main garden area, the ones that are just outgrowing the pots and need more space. But anyway, that's just another something I'll talk about more as we get there. Some other things we've been doing is yesterday we got that fire pit that we had out back broken down. Those bricks are going to be moved out to the property and build a nicer fire pit out there. And then, you know, because we don't sit around fires here at the house anymore. We go out to the property to do that. We have our barbecues and stuff out there now. So we're turning that area back there into another garden area. I still can't guarantee it's all going to be done this year in time for planting anything, but at least we can start getting it ready. And then as far as out front, one of the things I'm going to do, even though I'm not looking at expanding that garden area out more, I'm still working on making the most of that garden area, both the area on the deck itself with the container gardening and the in-ground gardening, and then hoping that this year, if Pat has time, he can build me 2 or 3 more of those carrot boxes, though I'm not going to use them all for carrots. I'm looking at using those for things like beets and onions. I think they will do much better in boxes than directly in the ground, and that way I can free up more of the ground space area for growing even more potatoes, because potatoes do great out there, and with all that compost he's got out there, the potatoes are going to love that. The one thing I'm just really excited about, and you would have seen this in a photo that I put in the community section, is that you know that I've been working on that juniper and really opening up the inside of it. I've even cut out more to get even more sunlight coming down through the middle of the juniper, but still kind of leaving those outer edges of the juniper to give us more privacy, and it just looks cool. And so Patrick took some rounds off some logs, cut some rounds, and basically made some shelves. Rather than cutting those limbs completely off like I had asked him to do, that I had pruned down, he just basically turned them into supports for shelves. So what I'm doing is moving some of my strawberry pots on there, so turning the juniper also into a strawberry tree, which then leaves me more room on the deck for more pots for other things, whether it be more strawberries Or like what I plan on doing is growing some of my calendula out there, because calendula is one of those things that does do very well in pots, but it needs a lot of sun, because back here in pots it doesn't do good, because by the time the calendula finally starts to grow, the grapevines have filled in too much, making too much shade, and unless I move the pots in the middle of the deck, they just don't get enough sun. So I'm planning on doing that out front. My red gooseberry's starting to leaf up, seeing some little leaves on there. My fruit trees out front are starting to get some green. I'm just hoping that this year it doesn't freeze again like it did last year once things finally start getting flowers, because last year didn't get any fruit at all whatsoever off of those young fruit trees out front. Now that's it for gardening related stuff. I wanted to talk about a little bit of this and that, so this is a combination video again. And one of the things I wanted to mention was I want to thank the person that recommended this place called Cocoa Stripes, which is a US-based small business that is selling the reusable silicone bags specifically for freezing. These things are definitely heavy duty. Now I haven't tried using them yet. I'll be doing an update on this down the road, but I'm going to put a link to their website down below. I actually did some email correspondence with the lady that owns it. Very nice lady, yes, located here in the US. And so she sells all plastic free items, even toothbrushes. I've been meaning to try some bamboo natural bristle brush toothbrushes for a while, so I did buy a set of them. She has many other things, but the main thing I was looking at were the silicone bags. Now these work a little bit differently, and I wasn't sure what to think about it at first, because you know the little zipper thing's already on there. It's easy just to move it around instead of having two separate pieces like this. But then when I got to thinking about it, I realized that this idea just makes a lot of sense. And the reason for this is that a lot of times when you're looking at your zippers on your different types of bags, those are the first things to go on your reusable bags. Well, something like this is most likely going to last a lot longer than those zippers that come on your bag. So I bought two sets, and each set has two of the bigger ones, one of a blue and a gray, and then two of the small in each color. So there's 4 in each set. And like I said, I bought 2 sets, so I'll be trying these out because I'm going to need a bunch of these, especially when I start picking the blackberries wild. I want to be able to freeze them in these bigger bags. And then any of the other things I like to freeze, such as my zucchini and so on. Some stuff I'm still going to be using jars for, but the nice thing about things like plastic bags or silicone bags in this case is that they take up less room than jars, and you don't have to worry about them breaking. So I'm going to be giving these a try, and then again, like I said, doing an update on those and also on the toothbrushes. So far I'm happy with them. Gets my teeth clean, and it's natural, no plastic, none of that stuff. And one of the things I really liked about this store is that these things came, there was no plastic whatsoever in the packaging. So they came in a bag like this. I had 2 bags because she had some stuff in this bag and some stuff in this bag. And these nice reusable cloth bags with a drawstring. I got free shipping on my order. And so I recommend their site. Again, it's a small business here in the US, and we're trying really hard to try to promote local businesses as much as possible, small businesses, and really support them. We need to try to be intentional, such as the handcrafted dishes that I bought, or the Darn Tough socks, things that are made here in the US, as much as we possibly can, to at least support our fellow countrymen, as well as keeping the money here in the US. And if you're in Australia or New Zealand or England or whatever other country, I'm not asking you to have to buy from the US, but consider supporting the small business owner in your own country. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my update on the garden. I know there's not a whole lot to see yet, but things are starting to move along, and it's just exciting. I love it when I can get outside. Not only am I getting the fresh air and the sunshine that I so desperately need, it's so uplifting to start seeing things take shape. I love this time of year because of that. It's just a great feeling. So if you're not into gardening yet and you have those days that you're just feeling really down, if you can get out there and start working your garden, you'll find it's one of the best mood lifters there are. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to check out some of the links I'll be putting down below. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.